Hello, it's time to answer some of your questions, but before I do, I want to talk about 5 questions, and I don't think I'm going to put them in my videos anymore. The reason behind this is because I got my first 5 question the last time I did one of these, and when I got it I thought, oh, I've never had one of those before, and just for fun I'll put it in my video. But after that I got more 5 questions sent to me, and I just feel like with 5 questions there's a lot of speculation with them when answering them, and I really, the last thing I want to do is end up with loads of questions where I'm answering them and I'm saying I don't know, because with a lot of questions to do with fighting, you don't know what the outcome is going to be. Example is, I got this question from Ziggy the Pig 521, and they say, how about 5 Calican terrorbirds versus a Tyrannosaurus? Now that isn't necessarily a bad question, but you know, in nature, unless in rare cases, animals don't tend to gang up with each other to fight off the competition. Now it's true that terrorbirds may have been social animals, so this question isn't necessarily bad. It's just I don't want loads of fight questions where when I'm answering them I'm just saying I don't know. So I really want to make videos where at least I can answer them and I can have a look at research to back up my answers. So because of that, I don't think I'm going to put 5 questions in my videos anymore, and I might also choose questions. I mean, in the past, before, I was actually trying to answer all of them that were sent to me, but now, just because of time limits, I want to make sure that these videos don't get too long, so I'm probably going to pick out certain questions rather than answering them. And if that happens and, you know, you've sent in a question and I don't answer it, it's not necessarily because it's a bad question or I don't want to, it's just because I'm keeping an eye on how long these videos are. Of course, I am interested to see what your opinion is of fight questions and what you think of them, and if I should actually have them in my videos or not. So let me know through the comments as well. And I would recommend, if you have any fight questions you really want answering, send them to Dinosaur George. I know it probably won't be easy because he's been busy with his travelling exhibit and hasn't been on YouTube lately, but I would say try and get them to him somehow, because he is the creator of Jurassic Fight Club and he really enjoys answering fight questions. So the first question I'm going to answer comes from the Phenom74, and they ask, do you think it's possible that Mosasaurs used pressure wave sonar to hunt their prey? In my opinion, I don't think so, because there isn't any evidence to prove that Mosasaurs were able to make sounds or anything like that. But have you seen a tooth of a Mosasaur? Oh, how convenient. When you get to see a Mosasaur tooth, you see that they are really big, lethal weapons. And Mosasaurs have been nicknamed the T-Rex of the sea, and that hasn't been given them by accident. Their teeth are very similar to Tyrannosaurus. They're huge, they're robust, they're thick, and they would have been capable of crushing bone. And so because of this, I don't think Mosasaurs would have needed to create pressure waves in the sea, since they have these massive teeth. I mean, even if they were able to make sounds, I just don't think they would have needed that. They have the lethal weapons in their mouth of being able to crush their prey. My next question comes from Baby Blue Know Who, and they say, is there in fact a Megalosaurus skeleton? I thought there were only bits and pieces. Megalosaurus dates from the mid-Jurassic, right? This is related to my idea of having my own museum and what dinosaurs I would have, and I said that I would have Megalosaurus. Now, it's true that only bits and pieces of this dinosaur have been found and no complete skeletons have been found. But with many dinosaurs, that just happens to be the case. I mean, with a lot of them, they haven't been found complete, and so we've had to guess what certain parts of their body would have been like. And Deldrodromius is a good example. A skull, as far as I know, has never been found. So by looking at its relatives, paleontologists have been able to create something that would have probably been what the skull would have looked like. And we can do the same with Megalosaurus. So really, even though we do not have a complete skeleton of Megalosaurus to base a replica from, it wouldn't stop us. We can look at their relatives. I mean, Megalosaurus would have been very similar to Tovosaurus, and so from looking at that, we could create bits and pieces that we don't know anything about from Megalosaurus for sure, and use that. And as we find more, we can update it as we go along. Even though only bits of Megalosaurus have been found, there's actually quite a lot of material from this dinosaur, and I've been lucky enough to come across some of it. And I've been lucky enough from my volunteering to actually have the opportunity of being able to hold Megalosaurus teeth. I can tell you, it's amazing being able to hold teeth from Tyrannosaurus or Allosaurus, but being able to have the opportunity of holding Megalosaurus teeth, that was just incredible. The next question I have comes from Cena AVP WWE34, and they say, do you think there could have been many genuses of Tyrannosaurus rex, considering there were at least 4 or 5 ancestors of it living at the same time, like our Birdosaurus, Striptosaurus and Gorgosaurus? I'm going to change the word genus to species because, as you've stated, we do know that there were other genuses within the Tyrannosaur family. So could there have been other species of Tyrannosaurus? And I definitely think so. At the moment we know of Tyrannosaurus rex, but it has happened where we've had more than one species. Tyrannosaurus rex is the only species at the moment within the genus Tyrannosaurus, but it has happened before where we've had other species. Tarbosaurus beta was once thought to be related enough to be put into the same genus as Tyrannosaurus, and so its name was changed to Tyrannosaurus beta. But lately there's been a debate on whether Tarbosaurus should have its own genus or whether it should be within Tyrannosaurus, and so it's gone back into being called Tarbosaurus. And you know, as far as I know, the only difference between Tyrannosaurus rex and Tarbosaurus beta is really a difference to the crest above its eye. Apart from that, really, these two animals are incredibly similar. So it's hard to be so sure at this moment, but I definitely think that there would be other species apart from rex within Tyrannosaurus. Because a fair number of Tyrannosaurus skeletons have been discovered, paleontologists have been able to notice that a Tyrannosaurus seems to be different from the traditional morph. It seems more gracile and it seems more slender and faster than the traditional T-Rex, and some people think it may be a different species. But before people get ahead of themselves and say that this is a different species, Tyrannosaurus X could just represent a growth stage, it could be a different age, it could also represent gender, or it could just be individual differences. And then there's also this debate between Nanotyrannus and being a young T-Rex. The reason for this is because Nanotyrannus, if it does exist, will have its own genus, but there's the potential that it could just be a young T-Rex. But then it's become even more complex because of this skeleton called Tinker, which looks very similar to an adult T-Rex, yet it's only about half the size of a fully grown Tyrannosaurus. So what does this represent? Is this a growth stage? Is this a different species? It's hard to be so sure. Maybe this was a species of Tyrannosaurus that only grew to half the length, maybe, rather than being a juvenile. It's hard to tell. So, you know, in my personal opinion, I'm just going to step back and let the professionals work out what's going off here with the Nanotyrannus debate. But with this, I think that there will definitely be other species of Tyrannosaurus other than Tyrannosaurus rex. And my last question comes from Triassic Evolution, and they say, how much would a paleobiologist, zoologist or ecologist make? Well, actually, there's a lot of jobs available within paleontology. I mean, one that I'm aware of is that museums will employ paleontologists to be able to identify rocks if they have fossils on them, and they can identify them to give the age of the rocks. It's actually a lot cheaper than carbon dating the rock, and so because of that, museums will go out to employ paleontologists to date rocks. So really, because of different jobs, different countries and different currencies, I can't really give specific details of how much money you can make from this area, but I will just put out what Dinosaur George told me, and that really when it comes to money, that's secondary. If you think paleontology is something that you would enjoy, that is something that you should focus on, and so really that should be the main priority. Dinosaur George has been getting a lot of references in these videos lately, hasn't he? So that's my last question. Thank you for watching, and for everyone that sent in their questions, thank you for sending them in. It's been fantastic and I've really enjoyed it. As always, I hope to be making new videos soon, and I'll see you later.